Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I am here today with another video which I told you guys I was going to make. I am going to start from the very beginning. Obviously, once upon a time I was out with my girls. The night was fun, the DJ was popping, I was popping, my friends were popping, everything was cute, like we were having a nice time. I can't clean my teeth. Feel like there's lipstick on my teeth. So all of a sudden, this very tall, dark, muscular, like proper big guy came to talk to me, and he was asking me how I was, what I was drinking, and so on and so forth. And I was like, obviously I'm drinking something already, and he was just talking to me. So I was obviously just having fun, and I wasn't really concentrating on the guy that was standing by me because it looks like the DJ just played the songs that I like in that moment. So I was just dancing, and even though the guy was talking to me, I wasn't really, you know, when you're not 100% giving it back to that person. All of a sudden, someone touched my shoulder while I was dancing. So I thought to myself, who can this be? I turned around to see who it was. I obviously thought it was my girlfriend or something, and then it was obviously not my girlfriend. So I turned around and I was like, hello. It was this another tool, this time not dark, light skin, cute, like baby face looking kind of guy, and was like, excuse me, are you with this guy? Like, he pointed the muscular guy because obviously he had probably seen me talk to the guy every once in a while. So before I could even say anything else, he touched the muscular guy that was to my right. I was wondering what he was saying to the guy, and then all of a sudden, and he was like, are you with this lady? And when he finished talking to the guy, he came back to me and was like, he was obviously asking for permission from the other guy to talk to me because he obviously thought the other guy was my boyfriend. And I was like, no, he's not my boyfriend. And in my mind I was like, oh, bless him, he's quite cute, like he asked for permission.
He's not like one of those disrespectful guys who just come and talk to any girl regardless of who they're with. So I was like, nah, I'm not with him.
So yeah, the night was going on, I was having fun, and he was by my side all through the night. Towards the end of the club, he obviously asked me how I was getting back home, and I said my friends and I are probably gonna get a cab back home or something, and he was like, he doesn't mind dropping us back home. And I was like, okay, let's see what happens after the club, innit? I spoke to my friends and they didn't mind as well. He dropped his friends home, dropped my friends home, and then obviously I was the last person. So he dropped me home and I was like, oh, thank you so much. And he asked for my number and I gave him because he had this little cute childish face. Like, do not get me wrong, he was a mature. And after that day, he obviously called me to like constantly check up on me, and like we went out on a date. And I remember asking him on the first date if he had a girlfriend, and he said he had just come off a really long relationship. And I was like, oh, bless him, it's really cute to see guys that are into long relationships and they can like persevere.
So I was like, oh, okay. And he seemed pretty honest to me at the time. So we did go out on our first date and he was promising heaven and earth as usual. How if I was a good girl, he was going to take me places and so on and so forth. And I was like, oh yeah, good for you.
After a while, he asked me out to be his girlfriend, and I was like, oh, okay, because I actually really liked this guy. He was my type. He was humble, he was respectful, he was not too muscular, which I don't like. We started dating, and I think the whole relationship in general lasted for like 6 months. And I remember that all through the relationship he was really honest, and he would take me out, he would look after me, he was loving. The only problem that we had was the fact that we didn't see each other as often as I would have loved for us to see each other. Like, we will see each other every other week, not like every week, and sometimes we'll go for a while without seeing each other.
But he will like obviously keep the communication going. So I didn't have any cause to doubt him because I'm usually not the type who is like insecure in a relationship. I'm a busy person. If you are busy, I am busy as well. So it's really hard for me to start being paranoid about where you are or what you're not doing or whatever, because most of the times that you are busy, I am also busy. So I just really didn't make a big deal about the fact that we didn't see each other often because I was busy as well.
And I remember him going to Africa every once in a while for business. I did go to his house to visit him every once in a while. He had a really nice house which he had just bought, and he had a nice car, and that just made me feel like he was a responsible person.
He was showing me around the house, like he had just bought a new fridge and all of that, and I was like, oh, bless him. Like, to see someone who is this responsible, that speaks volumes, you know.
And in the 5th month of our relationship, he told me that he was going to Nigeria for I think 3 weeks or so, and I was just like, oh, okay.
I didn't really think much into it. As I said, I'm really not one to ask too many questions. Like, I have things that I'm doing myself, so if you want to fly, fly. I'm busy as well. If I want to fly, I'm gonna fly. So he obviously told me on the day that he was going to the airport. Like, he filled me in. Like, the nigga filled me in through everything. So I was like, oh, okay. So he went to Nigeria, and obviously I realized that he didn't call me for like 2-3 days, but I didn't still think much of it because I was like, oh, maybe it's network or whatever. And as I said, and obviously I was busy as well, so it's probably onto the 3rd day that I realized that, oh, I haven't actually spoken to this nigga. So yeah, he called me finally and was like, oh, he's been so busy. He's been to his dad's village, and there's a project they're doing in their village where they're building a church or something. I was like, oh, bless, and all that. So I was like, oh, bless you. Obviously, do what you want to do and come back to the UK. In my head, I think my boyfriend is back in Africa in business and building a church or whatever, doing projects. Like, nothing ever came to my head that was suspicious all through this relationship. So that is what is so funny to me up to now, because I didn't have any doubt all through. I was just going through the relationship like a sheep without a shepherd. I was so in my own world, basically.
So this is where it gets interesting. One day I was obviously back from uni. I had my nice dinner, watched my Telemundo, and was just chilling in bed, like just chilling, thinking that life is good, everything is good, I'm not stressed, let me just sleep and enjoy myself. And I started scrolling through my phone. I was literally just laying down and just scrolling through my phone, and I was on Instagram. I follow this page called BellaNaija. So while I was scrolling through my Instagram, because I was bored, I saw this lady singing to a guy, but because I wasn't really concentrating, I literally just scrolled past it. Something told me that that face looked familiar, like the guy's face looked familiar, but because I had already scrolled past it, I had to literally go back. So while I was looking through, I looked at the picture properly, and I saw a guy that looked like my boyfriend on BellaNaija. So this is me laying on my bed on a normal day, thinking that my boyfriend is in Africa doing business, and all of a sudden I'm scrolling through my social media and I'm seeing my boyfriend on BellaNaija with a lady singing to him. So obviously in that moment, I cannot tell you guys, you know when information kind of like slaps you in the face, because you know some things happen with like a process, so your mind and your spirit and everything has time to like adjust to it. But when something happens all of a sudden, like a shock, it like gets to you even more. So I think I felt a very sharp pain in my heart
the minute I saw that, because I was like, I was shocked, you know. I'm usually not one to be heartbroken and all that, because I am a very strong woman and I deal with heartbreak really well. But that day, for some reason, I felt this really sharp pain in my chest. Like, it wasn't even emotional pain, you know, like it was physical pain. And I remember sitting up from my bed, because obviously I was laying in bed. I literally had to support myself and sit upright. And like literally, I don't even know, like I was just in a phase. Like in that moment I was in a phase, like I was shocked.
And then I clicked on the wedding hashtag, and that was where I started seeing pre-wedding pictures. I started seeing their shoots that they've had for the wedding, and I started reading like their story. Whatever I read, it showed that they were high school sweethearts, like they've known each other all their lives. And I was just like, wow,
I am really like in London thinking that I'm dating someone when that person is actually just using me to like The person is literally just using me to, I don't know what he was using me for.
I was the side chick. He obviously had his wife, and he just needed someone to be around, obviously, I guess.
That was when everything started to play back in my head. The house was supposed to be the house that he was obviously marrying his wife to bring back to London. That's why he was just buying a new fridge. That's why there was new furnitures everywhere. And obviously the fact that we didn't see each other all the time probably contributed to the fact that obviously he had to be talking to his wife or whatever, I don't know. And the fact that he went to Nigeria and couldn't talk to me, and the fact that he was in his village and he was building whatever in his village, that was probably the day that they were going to pay the bride price or whatever, and everything just started playing back to me, and I was like, wow.
When I looked at the wedding date, it was literally the day that he called me. I told you guys that he stayed for like 3 or 4 days without calling me.
The day that he eventually called me back was the day after the wedding. So imagine this guy going to Africa to marry his wife, his high school sweetheart, the girl that he loves, and he's been dating some other girl in London. And he's even taken that girl to the house that he obviously is going to bring his wife to. And he's talking to this girl up until the day of his, up until like even the week of his wedding. And the day after his wedding, he is still talking to the girl.
I pulled myself together that night. The thing with me is when I am shocked, I try to accept things really quickly. So I just accepted in my spirit that this is what I was to this person. And I was hurting, but I accepted it really quick, and I am really good at accepting heartbreak. So I just accepted that, wow, this is what this guy was doing to me. And I was like, okay. And I moved on. The next day I told my girlfriend, and my friend was shocked as well, and so on and so forth, and I moved on with my life. And then he called me back again another day, and I remember just being on the phone that day and just listening to him ask me how I was. And I was so tempted to be like, do you know that I know that you are married? But something told me that he's not even worth it. Like, you just, like, this information that you've got now is your power. That's why I said in my video about side chicks that the moment you know, that's the power that you've got in that moment, and you can do whatever you please with it. So I knew that he was married, so I knew my position at that point. So whatever he was saying on the phone, I could be screaming down the phone to him and be like, oh, you cheat, go be with your wife or whatever. But I chose to just keep it to myself, okay?
Every time I'll be tempted to say something to him, but I didn't say anything. I was just like, oh, really? Obviously, I'm good at pretending, okay? So, to complain again.
And he came back to London. He even came to see me. He was apologizing to me that he didn't call while he was in Africa, because I was like, why did you call me while you were in Africa, and so on and so forth. And he was apologizing. And my nigga didn't have his wedding ring on his hand, okay? Like, when he was coming to see me, he brought me presents and everything else. Passed through Africa to Dubai. I think that was where the honeymoon was or whatever. So he bought some stuff there for me as well. So he came to London to give me.
And I was just watching that ring finger to see if there was anything, and he didn't have his ring on, which means he took out the ring to come and see me.
So I was just looking, like, the whole time, every time that I saw that guy after that thing happened, after I found out that he was married, I was just looking at him like, wow, there's no iota of guilt in this guy. Like, if I didn't find out what I found out, I would literally not feel that this guy is guilty of anything. Like, he was a good liar. And obviously, you know, sometimes, even though you don't say something, your actions and your body language will actually pass the message on. So after that time, I think I saw him like randomly just to take me out to eat or something, and then I kind of like was distracted, so I started pushing him away, and I didn't see him as often anymore. Obviously there was nothing going on. I wouldn't pick calls anymore, I wouldn't really answer his messages, and then everything just started growing apart. And I'm sure obviously he had his wife to look after, so he too was quite distracted, which was good. And that was how everything just faded away up until now. The nigga doesn't know that I know. Obviously if he watches this video, he will now know that I know. But my friends told me to like maybe go and like bust him, like, or take him out to dinner and like be all dramatic and stuff, but I'm not a dramatic person. I would rather just let things go. So I literally just let that go, and it's just taught me a lesson that you cannot trust people anyhow. Like, people are really mean, people are really out here to lie to girls, and every girl out there should really be careful, especially with these African men. So that just goes to tell all of you that if anything bad happens to you, be it in your life, in your relationship or whatever, look at the bright side and look at what you can learn from that situation. Okay? Okay guys, I have come to the end of my video, and this is my story time about the time when I was a side chick. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see all of you in my next video.